Recently, President Omar Alieu Touré of the ECOWAS Commission came to create the biggest joke I've ever heard in my life. He was making an announcement, and I was listening to him, and he said the ECO is going to be part of our currency in 2027 that we shall use in West Africa. And I sat down quietly and I started asking myself, what kind of currency is the ECO going to be? Alieu Touré did not tell us, as the president of the ECOWAS Commission, and therefore the ECOWAS, what kind of currency the ECO is going to be. Is it going to be a currency that will only be for intergovernmental and interbanking transaction? Or is going to be a legal tender? When did this claim, the five cardinals or the four cardinals that we were told by some economists that until the West African economies are able to meet those conditions, a common currency would not be feasible and viable. They said we have to do something over our import because our import is very, very bad. So we have to totally reduce import. Has import been reduced? The answer is no. We have to have a favorable balance of trade. And therefore, our budget deficit have to be changed. Has that happened? The answer is no. Our balance of trade is very, very bad. Our budget deficit is even worse. Then they said we should do something to create a favorable exchange rate for our currency. Has that been done? The answer is no. And so many other economic jargons. So many other economic nonsense, GDP this, GDP that, all lies. That has not been done. So how come Alieu Touré coming to announce that the ECO, because the AES, they are claiming they are introducing a common currency. So Alieu Touré too feel he can just go and get some contractors to cut some money and come and throw it within the economy. We told him it will not work.
So I think that at this point,
it will never work.
We don't have a time as a country.
And you can't even do it. So the convergence, the this, the that, the economic this, is all a lie. We have always argued that the French-speaking countries and the English-speaking countries, we, the English-speaking countries, used to use a kind of currency called the British West African pound. This British West African pound, we were using it at the time before independence. The Gold Coast, Nigeria, Gambia, and Sierra Leone, we were using this British West African pound. At that time, we are part of the British Empire. So the British Parliament that has got a legislative power voted by the British people, they are the power behind the British West African pound. And therefore, because we are not independent, we were using that common currency. That is still happening with the French economy, West African economy, the French-speaking countries. Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, Senegal, Guinea, Cote d'Ivoire, Togo, Benin, and Niger. The 8 countries, they use the CFA in West Africa. These countries that use the CFA, technically it implies they are connected to the Parliament of France, and the Parliament of France, the legislative arm, own the currency because France owns the currency. So there is something wrong with the independence of those nations. We in Ghana, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, and the Gambia, when we had our independence, we decided to create our own legislative organs. We voted for them and we had our currency. So now going forward, the colonizer is gone. We want the 5 English-speaking countries, including Liberia, to have a common currency called the echo. That is what we want. And we want the currency to be a legal tender, like CD is a legal tender in Ghana. What do we do first? Do we go back to the British to come and give us one common currency because we were formerly part of the British colony? The answer is no. Then what do we need? Here is the importance of the legislative arm of the ECOWAS. The reason why this has delayed all this long is because the ECOWAS Parliament is an advisory body, because the members of the Parliament of the respective member countries, they vote, they choose who goes to the ECOWAS Parliament, not us, not the electorate, as we do in our respective countries. So in our respective countries, as they do in the European Union countries, they vote for the members of their own parliament. But when we decided to have a common parliament, like the ECOWAS parliament, as they had the EU parliament, our job is to directly vote for the members of our ECOWAS parliament, for them to be legislative arm of ECOWAS. That will give us the power for ECOWAS laws to be enforceable, for there to be compliant. It's just like the laws in the member countries. So when they need each other, they will work together. Sometimes the work of ECOWAS is different from the work of Ghana government to Ghanaians. Sometimes the work of Ghana government is different from the work of ECOWAS to Ghanaians. And sometimes the two need to collaborate and work to serve the same Ghanaian. We therefore cannot say that if we want the two to be separate parliaments, so each will focus on their job, and then we know where they have to work together and where they have to work in each on its own, but serving the same citizen of West Africa, then we need to wake up. Those that we have outsourced our mandate to absolutely within our countries, they don't have the kind of power and the capability to do what we want. If you have a common sense,